Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel right here today, guys. And isn't it an absolutely beautiful day? What a feeling we are having right now. We are on cloud 9 or cloud 7. It is a 7-0 win for Barca, our biggest since 2016. That's 8 years ago. Of course we're going to be doing some celebrating. Of course we're going to be looking at the individual magic today, but the team display as well. The dominance that Barca showed, the joy of this match, and of course the leadership and the impact of Hansi Flick himself. And what's even more incredible right here today is that we're going to be talking about how this Hansi Flick team could get even better. A closer look at how the injured players returning to this team could only add to Flick's tactical options. All of that is coming your way, so get ready and keep that smile on your face. Let's do it. But I want to start, first of all, guys, with some absolutely incredible super thanks donations that came in last night here. One from Dani, who's been a long-time supporter of the channel. I want to give a big shout out to him and his best friend Blake. I'm sure that you both enjoyed the 7-0 win last night. And also to Saeed, he's a regular here on the channel. After a long time, I was able to witness actual football being played by Barca. We've waited years for this moment. Thank you to Saeed. And let's go! Hansi Flick is making a Michelin star dish. It is true. We've tasted it ourselves. Hansi Flick is cooking up something special. Thank you to all of you guys, because what a day it was. And I'm sure you guys right now, you're still feeling it. Even today, the day after, we're going to be feeling this for the whole international break. And what an incredible way to enter this break, by the way. A 7-0 victory, 4 out of 4 wins in La Liga, standing alone at the top of the league. Does it get any better? Is it possible to actually go into an international break feeling better than this? And I've got to say, guys, watching that game yesterday, I've missed this feeling. I had missed that team playing in that way. Because for me, that was Barca. That was actually a Barca team out there. That's what we wanted to be. That's what we should be. And it was an absolute joy to behold. And it was a statement performance, like I say. I don't remember the last time I've seen us play that way. I'm talking about the speed of play here. It was the speed and the pace of the players and the pace of the movement, the interchanging of positions, the intensity, and even clinical finishing, by the way. I mean, Flick right now, he is working miracles. We are putting away chances in front of goal. But even still, it probably could have been more yesterday. That's the incredible thing. And what I want to focus on here right now, look at the joy, not just from us fans, but look at the players. You look at the celebrations after every goal yesterday. They come together. They've even got dances that they've been working on, that they're getting ready to actually perform because they know they're going to score. But it's that joy, not only that they're feeling, but they're playing with it out there on the field. They've got that license to be expressive. They've got that freedom out there on the field. And the man who has made all of this possible, and the man who is bringing our joy back, it is Hansi Flick. And for me, he just gets it. He absolutely gets what it means to be a Barca coach and what it means here to be a Barca team. The way that we should be playing. The fact here that we want to be on the front foot. We want to take risks in our play. We saw that yesterday. Every single pass there, we're looking forward. We're looking for an opening. We're looking to make a run that could penetrate a defence. That is what it is all about here. And I just think he is the perfect coach for this club at the perfect time. This was what we needed. It's a breath of fresh air. And he is bringing the change that we were all crying out for. But of course, guys, we do have to talk about the predictions because, well, as a group, we've still got no points. We have still got no points on the board there from our pre-match predictions, but never have I been delighted to be so wrong, both here and in a minute when we're going to talk about Dani Olmo, because I said before the game, I did think a big win was coming. I did think there's something was brewing and we'd be knocking on the door, but I thought it was going to be by 3 goals. What idiot here did not include a win by a 7-goal margin? I'm sorry, guys. I must do better, but congratulations there to everybody at home who predicted Raphinha to score the first goal. I wonder if anybody out there could have predicted a hat-trick. That was absolutely extraordinary. Let's talk about Raphinha, Because what a game he had. Not only the hat-trick, he also got a brilliant assist at the end of the game there for Ferran Torres. You can see Raphinha, he works until the end. Every single player does it, but he is the one who is setting the tone for the pressing, the intensity. Hansi Flick absolutely loves that part of the game, and Flick said after the match, actually, it's taken way too long for Raphinha to score a hat-trick. He said he's got so much ability, he's got so many great characteristics. This is what he should be doing. And I think this is the kind of standard right now that we're going to start to hold Raphinha to, because he does have so much potential, so much talent, and now, are we about to fully realise it? And he was actually asked there after the game, what has changed for you under Hansi Flick? What has been the big difference in your game that we are seeing? And he did outright say there, my understanding of adapting to my role in the team. That's been the big change here. He said it plays a big part. The coach gives me a lot of confidence, and I try to adapt as quickly as possible in several different positions. And I think here, the freedom that Raphinha is allowed to have from Hansi Flick, that really suits his game. I think the style of play being slightly more direct here under Flick, certainly that suits Raphinha and many other of our Barcelona players as well. It almost feels as though now we're playing a brand of football, a style of football that suits more of the players that we have. This is the kind of way that they want to play, that they feel natural playing. Maybe when they grew up as kids there, playing on the playground, this is the way they were doing it, with this freedom to just go out there and show their enormous talent. And I also want to talk here about Yamal, because he is another one of these players here who looks so suited to what Flick is bringing to Barca. Because you will remember, guys, before Yamal had even played under Flick, before he'd even come back actually to pre-season training, he'd been saying, I've been messaging Flick, and I'm really excited about the change in style. I'm really excited about playing under Hansi Flick's orders. And I think it's another player here who knows that bit of edge about our play, that bit of directness. Yamal is really suited to that. And I want to talk about his 2 assists yesterday, because if you look at both of them there, first of all, the lofted assist there, perfectly timed, perfectly weighted, over the top to Lewandowski, that was beautiful, and then the assist to Raphinha for his hat-trick goal, it was absolutely sublime. And in both of those goals, what you will notice is many players, and especially young players, as soon as they see a run, they'll try and play a pass. They'll think, okay, I've seen the run, I've clocked it, I'm going to play this through and try and create something. What Yamal does, though, he sees the run, he sees the picture, but it's that pause. He waits for the perfect moment there. Maybe waiting for the defence to take an extra step. Maybe there for a defender just to move slightly out of position. Then he will play the pass. You look at that Raphinha goal for his hat-trick there. Yamal waits and waits and waits and waits there. It's almost like he's toying with the opposition. Then he'll make his move. And it was absolutely perfection. And I just can't keep stressing enough, this is not normal. This is not normal behaviour from a young, talented player. What he is doing out there, it is ridiculous. It is beyond his years. It is beyond anything we've seen from somebody of his age. It's incredible. And Yamal, what a player. What a joy to watch. But okay, guys, now we must talk about Dani Olmo yet again, because I'd just like to say, just like against Rayo Vallecano when he came off the bench there, when immediately he smacked one from long range against the crossbar, it was unreal, and already he changed that game. He went on to score the winning goal, and he set the whole tone. The whole change in the game came from Olmo's influence. And I would look again at yesterday's match where he started it. Again, he sets the tone. The way that he started this match here, he is everywhere. He hit the post. He had a goal disallowed. He hit the post again later on in the game. He was determined the whole match to get himself a goal, and he did. It was a phenomenal solo run, cut back, and a great finish from Dani Olmo. And I'm telling you right now, guys, every goal that we've scored with him in the team, he has either been directly involved in it with a goal or an assist, or he won't be far away from the action. He will be involved in some capacity in the move that we have made. And obviously right now, it is early days. He has only played 2 games in a Barca shirt, but I actually don't care. I am happy to say right here and now, I was wrong about Dani Olmo. I will hold my hands up and admit, Hansi Flick clearly had a plan for him, and we have seen that plan immediately come to fruition, and it feels as though Dani Olmo was the final piece of the jigsaw. And if that does prove to be the case, guys, make no mistake, he will absolutely be worth the money that we paid for him this summer. He has only played for an hour and a half right now. That's all that he's played in a Barca shirt, but he's already silenced everybody, including me, and I hold my hands up. He has been that good, and I am loving watching him. However, guys, I do also think here we need to address the topic of rotation in this team right now, because I have to say, when we saw again Yamal starting in yesterday's game, same situation there as well for Pau Kubasi, a lot of people were a little bit concerned, given how much they've already played in the opening 4 games of the season. And of course, we're all very, very cautious, given our injury problems that we suffer with as a club. But I do here believe, guys, and I want to say very strongly here, that I firmly believe Flick will rotate quite heavily as the season progresses here. Because Flick is one of those coaches, by the way, who is very, very aware of the condition of the players. Of course, that's one of his big specialities there, the conditioning of his squad. So he understands there more than anyone where they're at, but I think it is going to help a great deal when we do get a few of our key players back, as we're going to talk about in just a moment. But here's the thing, because one thing that I would say is that I really would not be surprised at all if Flick continues, though, to look to La Masia as well, to provide their depth, cover in the squad, and also to continue to provide solutions in this team, because even in yesterday's game, he brought on 19-year-old centre-back Sergi Dominguez for his first team debut there at Barça, and Flick said he had an excellent pre-season, he was really impressed with him, he's now looked at him in the last few weeks as well as a potential first-teamer, and he said he's showing really promising signs, and I've got to say, I love the willingness to continue putting trust in these younger players. And you know what else was great to see too? Flick at the end of the game with his arm around Hector Fort, embracing him there at the end of the match. It was really nice because Hector Fort has not played for a single minute yet in these opening 4 games of the season, but you could see Flick wanted to reassure him. He wanted to make it clear here, the opportunity is going to come. I am going to need you, and I'm going to need every player in this Barca squad, because we've got more games than ever this season. We are going to need everybody, and I think it's really important there to have that closeness to ultimately keep everybody in the squad motivated, feeling good, feeling important. That is absolutely key. That's the man management that you need at a top club. And that is the kind of coach that Hansi Flick is, because even yesterday, he said in his press conference, I want players to approach me. He said, I want players to come to me to ask questions if they're not happy or if they need to know how they can improve. He welcomes that kind of dialogue, and communication is absolutely key at Barca, and you saw it during the game as well. We've seen him many, many times there speaking one-on-one with Marc Casado. We saw it yet again yesterday during the match. They're talking together. They're exchanging ideas there. Flick is passing on instructions to him, and he's trying to take it all on board, because as much as Hansi Flick's approach is based around being very strict, very hard-working, demanding discipline, making sure you're working for the team. But I think you can also accept here that that doesn't mean we're not going to see a tight-knit group. It doesn't mean here that this team is not still going to be a close one. Because when you're working for each other, when you're playing for each other, and when you're winning together, that will create the strongest bond of all. But here's the thing, guys. Is there genuinely an opportunity here to make this team even stronger, even better, and with even more depth? Because, of course, this is not all that we have, and this is not all that we're going to have for this season. There are still players who can come back into this team, and especially with the way that we're playing, I think we've got to talk about how that could look. Because let me just mention a player immediately. What about Ansu Fati? Because when I look at what we're doing in terms here of players arriving into the box, there's a real willingness here for players to get in the area, to get close to Robert Lewandowski, and everybody has freedom to shoot on goal. If you can see the goal, you are fully permitted to get shots away. Now, for me, that would really suit Ansu Fati. Because what you want from him is him to be operating in space. You don't want him to be there locked into really tight spaces. You want him to have their avenues to work in. You want him inside of the box, and you want him getting shots away. And I believe Ansu will have more opportunities, more shooting chances there, what he wants in his game than ever in his Barca career. In this Flick team, I do believe there is a real opening for somebody like Ansu Fati. And then there is Xavi. Now, he is a player that, for me, absolutely, perfectly, and I mean perfectly suits what Hansi Flick wants to do. Because the first thing you say about Xavi doesn't even matter where you play him. You could play him from the left, you could play him in the centre, you could play him even deeper in midfield. It doesn't really matter. Just think of what he's going to do in terms of bringing that intensity, in terms there of the pressing. He will be everywhere. He will be just like Raphinha. He'll set the tone, and he will do it all game long. Xavi's perfect for Flick. But you also think here about the freedom in these attacking areas. We have seen Xavi in the past play off to the left, but he loves operating in the half spaces, doesn't he? He loves coming inside, taking up those little pockets of space. And again, when you've got players here who have full license to roam and to actually take up different areas, I think that's going to perfectly suit Xavi, and it's exactly the kind of role that he also can flourish in. And then there's Frenkie de Jong. Now that's where it gets really interesting in my mind, of course, because we've had plenty of problems there in terms of depth in these holding midfield positions. I think Asado has come in and done really well. I think we'll still continue to see plenty of him. But exactly where and how is Frenkie going to fit in this midfield? Because I think it's going to be really interesting to see him playing in a much quicker team here, to actually move the ball very quickly in the transition. We're moving it on. We're moving it forward as quick as we possibly can. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see him in a very different kind of midfield role to what we have seen him in the past, especially here when we're thinking about a double pivot. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how Frenkie suits the Flick system, if Flick can be the man to bring the best out of him, to actually see him fulfill the huge potential that he has. We are going to see that, hopefully, sooner rather than later. And then, of course, finally, he does have a long-term injury right now. It is going to be several months before we see him back. But when we do, what about Ronald Araujo? Because there is no player in my mind more suited to this kind of high line from Hansi Flick than Ronald Araujo. He will absolutely thrive here on defending that space in behind there, making sure that he is athletic enough, that he is switched on enough to cover all of that room in behind it, especially against the very best opponents there. I think Araujo's a player that you saw when Flick arrived, along with Frenkie de Jong. He was saying there, look, Araujo, de Jong, they're going to be my pillars. They are players that I can see in my team, that I can build around. And I think it's going to be fascinating, because already what we're seeing from Barca, what we're seeing from Hansi Flick, it's unreal. It is absolute magic. But is there the potential there for even more? Have we only just gotten started here? That's the most exciting thing of all. And so indeed, guys, that is what we are dealing with right now. That is the excitement that is brewing inside of this club. And I'm on top of the world, and I'm so happy to see incredible comments from you guys. There's so many people feeling joy right now, feeling absolute happiness and just content with what we are seeing at Barca. It has been a long time coming, and long may it continue. And I will continue being here with you guys. There will be lots more uploads coming on the channel, of course, and as well over on MORETALKFCB. Hansi Flick has even brought MORETALKFCB back to life. Is there anything this guy cannot do? We will be talking more, and I thank you indeed for all of your support here, and for all of you tuning in for the long videos as well. That really means a lot to me. I will catch you all soon, and keep smiling, guys. But until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.